Chomp. All right.
All right.
All right. All right. All right.
All right. Here we go. Welcome, everybody.
Right.
Welcome back to
And
I'll
we're
Tell
already
You What.
peeking.
Elliot, come on. Come on. All right. Welcome to I'll Tell You What.
I'll tell you what.
Yes, we're coming over here. I'm Old Birch coming at you with the smooth way for you
The way
to
you
start
said your
commute
name
on the
made me
way.
deeply
Hate
uncomfortable.
it so much.
Chad trying to be seductive with the nickname Old Birch.
It's just.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because my nickname I tried to get going was
Don't-
Old Oak Richardson, and
Don't
that
call
just
it a
didn't happen.
nickname like people actually call him that.
Well, we're trying to get some things started here, you know what I mean?
Who else do we have in the room?
I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin, no nickname.
No, none
Emerald.
needed.
And right here you got Elliot, the bearded beauty Haney.
Oh, God. All right. And we're I'll Tell You What podcast.
Yes.
So we're a conversational pod.
Educational pod.
Educational
Three
pod.
great friends talking to each other, coming at you every week.
Every week. That's the hope, at least. It's getting a little tough to keep the pace, but we're survivors.
We're making it through. We're making it
this
happen.
podcast is a marathon. So I'm in the driver's seat on this pod, which let me
Yeah.
tell you, I'm a little excited about.
We're going to have a rotating showrunner.
Mhm.
Elliot got a little self-conscious because there's a lot of Elliot on the pod, and some might say too much.
There's been a little
Yeah.
much.
You may say that.
There's
So-
been a lot of beauty in the
Right.
past couple weeks. So I
Well,
said, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe we give our listeners a break and hear some other voices.
Yeah.
And
so
let's get some intelligence into this podcast.
Oh
'cause
boy, thanks.
yeah.
I will say Caitlin's the smartest of the three.
Well, we got
the best looking.
we
but-
got a Ivy League
all right, let's move on.
Ivy League educated.
Let's move. Okay, so
Pivot.
I'm
She's
the
a humble.
I'm the showrunner for this one.
Yes.
So buckle up, gentlemen.
Here we go.
So I'm excited. We had a big week this
Big
week when it came to the
week.
pod.
big week.
We
Very big week.
We record these about a week in advance of when they hit the airwaves, hit
true.
the pod waves. So it was Valentine's Day this week,
Mm-hmm.
which
Romantic times
Yeah.
to be had
Chad,
by
did you
some.
do anything for Valentine's Day?
Yes, my wife and I went out and had dinner. Then we went to
Where'd
see
you go
a
to dinner?
movie. Chipotle, because we're still on Whole 30.
oh yeah,
And so
not a lot of options,
yeah, the
Elliot.
compliant meals.
we,
So
asked,
Walk.
we asked Chad where he went to dinner with his wife. He goes, Chipotle. You know.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
that's
like a
ro-
dream for you,
like
Elliot.
romantic.
So you went to dinner and then you saw a movie.
Yep, we saw Green Book because we're A+ Stubbs members from
Right,
AMC.
Who
I
could
swear.
forget?
I
Forget
swear
about that.
this marketing opportunity is going to come our way. But yeah, it was a great time.
I
A
th-
good
yeah.
movie, funny movie. I laughed quite a bit actually.
We'll see how it pans out against our Oscar predictions we
Ooh.
did
Well,
last week.
You know, by the time you're hearing this episode,
We'll have known.
the
Yeah,
Oscars happened.
this is like a weird time-space continuum, right?
It
If
is. We
that's
have to constantly think about like
one
when is this going to reach our listeners'
right.
ears?
We've got like one foot in
I
the
know,
future, one in
I
the
know.
past.
You're hearing past Potters.
Ooh, yes, we're coming to you
Oh
from
my gosh!
Yeah.
It's like Back to the Future.
past.
It'll
Is that how
mess
that
with
works? Back to the Future.
in some sort of way. I think
And
so.
yeah, so big week for the pod. Valentine's Day.
Yep.
The pod made Valentines, which
Oh yes, our Instagram account was blowing up.
yeah, and which I'll tell you who runs it now, me. There's been a lot of dissension on the pod. Elliot kind of gave Chad and I tough love is one way to put it. Very stern talking to about how
We're
you know,
starting to
he's the only one that does anything.
Ooh,
around
That's,
here.
yes.
I never said that.
So we
That's
picked
what you said.
instead of like taking away work from him, we decided to pick up some work.
We
so
picked up some
our
work. Yeah,
Insta's been growing,
Yeah.
and guess what? The merch is available.
we got merch.
Yes. You've been asking for the T-shirts. You've been asking for the stickers. You've been
Mhm.
asking for the notebooks. Now they are available.
Much to Elliot's chagrin, he has dragged his feet so
I don't
hard on
think
this
anybody
merch.
ever asked for a notebook, but it's there.
They're going to see it and they're like,
I'm
ooh,
gonna get a
when I
notebook.
want to like take notes on what I want to write into the pod, where's a better place to do
What
it?
a better name for a notebook. I'll tell you what, journal.
Oh,
Here's how I'm feeling today.
that is.
Look at him. He's nodding
There's
a
a
little bit.
future
Like,
there.
he's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
okay,
didn't
good
hate
stuff.
it.
Yeah. So we got
Uh,
merch. We got Valentine's. We got an Instagram.
Chad, what's the best way to find the merch? Is there like an easy
There's going to be a link
path?
that we're going to be throwing up
Yeah.
on our Instagram account. So
Okay.
you'll be able to find that there. And
Okay.
at this point, you can look back on our Instagram account and find that.
Sure. Great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Listed
love it.
also in the comments under our YouTube video.
Which
Okay.
is
Perfect.
very well watched, the YouTube
Well,
channel.
you know, Well, you know what? I'd like people to write in. Do you watch the YouTube? Did you know there was a YouTube? Because according to the analytics, not many of you do.
Know.
And wondering if we should keep that part of this going.
Yeah, because you know what? Let me tell you, it's a lot of work.
Also, for those of you that are watching the YouTube, are you seeing this set?
Yeah, we're
Look
in a
behind
new
camera.
set.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We look official. We look
Yeah,
pro.
We
This
got
might
the
be a little
graphic up on
bit
the
too
big
much on
screen.
the nuts and bolts, huh?
Yeah.
What else are we going to talk about, huh?
That's a sign of confidence as you're about to listen to the episode.
Yeah, well, you know, the pod's also going on its first field trip this week.
Ooh.
Tomorrow night, we have big plans.
Big plans.
What are we doing,
Yes.
Elliot?
I forget what it's called, but we're going to watch.
It's called
And I'm-
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam.
I'm not
Triple
pleased.
threat.
Like, I'm excited to go, but this is not my kind of thing.
You're so full
Oh,
of
that's
it.
what you think right now. You're going to walk out of this place with your mind blowing.
I might.
What is it? What is Monster Jam, Elliot? Tell us what it
It's.
is.
I think it's a monster truck rally.
You
I don't know.
it's a
Yes,
monster
that's
truck
exactly
rally.
what it is.
I know what it is. I don't know what it entails. Like, is there a competition? Is
Yes.
there a winner at the end of the
Yes.
night? I have no idea how this works.
Yes.
Yeah. with all the
How are they
questions.
scored? Like, are there judges, or is
Yes.
it based on like audience loudness?
All of these things.
Oh,
okay.
audience cheering is
I think
part of it.
that can sway the judges' votes. And I've warned Elliot and Caitlin that this is
Yeah.
going to be the loudest thing they have ever experienced, and they need to take their hearing protection seriously.
Okay.
Yeah,
Elliot's
I'm
been
gonna-
like, whatever, I'm
Yeah.
just going to wear my earbuds.
No, I'm going to go get earplugs tomorrow.
I'm not.
Well, if they come in a pack, I'll
If
get you
you
some.
if they
but
come
I'm
in
not
a pack,
gonna, like,
you know,
buy you your own.
toss
Yeah.
me some.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am not a fan of these kind of things generally. Like, country music and monster truck rally. I think they go hand in hand, and they're not my kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Believe it or
sure.
not, where I'm from, it is the kind of thing. But I've
Yeah.
never been to
Tuna
one.
PA.
I don't know what to expect. I don't expect to enjoy it, but I'm going to enjoy being with the friends
That's
and
fair.
having an experience together.
Mhm.
That,
Well,
we're just living our life for the pod now.
Yeah, it's
The
all for
reason I'm
pod.
going to this
I
is
know.
literally to have content to talk about.
I know.
on the follow-up
I
episode.
appreciate you saying yes to the request to join us. My wife took a leap on it, and she's a huge fan now.
Yeah, Katie went down the rabbit
She
hole on it.
sure
That's-
did.
It's surprising.
I couldn't keep up with the texts. A
I-
lot of
I
back
didn't-
and forth
I-
about handicapping the races.
I
The
didn't even try.
bios, the truck
Yeah.
bios.
Okay.
like-
But I'm gonna do a deep dive on it tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, Monster Truck Rally. It's in Worcester.
All
Yeah.
right, so we're deeply appreciative of our listeners.
yes.
Um,
Very engaged
the
community out
mailbag
there.
has been popping off. So thank you all for writing
Pop,
in.
pop.
And update, Chad and I both have the passwords. And I'm kind of the one that's been responding. So Elliot has released some control of some things.
I'm living a
The
happier
Iron
and healthier
Curtain
life.
is
Yeah.
falling.
Yeah.
Um,
He's not always pleased with the way Chad and I do things, but
I mean, you have to,
We hear
if you
about
want
it.
something done right, you got to do it yourself, or you have to stop caring if it's done right.
yeah, that's
You know,
inspiring. Elliot.
um,
That makes
Right
us
and
both feel
different are
good.
two separate things.
Yeah.
Chad, we've talked about the mailbag. Where can you get to the mailbag?
You can get to the mailbag by emailing us at podcast@gmail.com.
Just
That's
to
ill tell you what
it's
podcast.
I'll tell you
ILL.
what with no apostrophe.
No apostrophe? All right, so we got, we're on episode whatever, because Elliot doesn't let us say the name anymore. And every episode, we've asked for advice. We've asked for people to ask for advice.
Yeah.
And nothing. Well, let me tell you something. We got a request for some
Oh, I
advice
can't
this
wait.
week.
Groundswell
We got an
has
advice.
come, yeah.
So I'll read it to you, because I think it'll transition nicely into our topic for this week.
Okay. I'm ready
there's been
to
some-
dole out some advice.
Synergy. Okay, so we got an email from our friend Laura.
Laura.
hello.
Hey,
Laura.
Laura. So she had a couple of questions, and then she had some requests for advice. So the first question is, Elliot a big boy or a big boy with an I?
Ooh.
It's the first one.
I think it's definitely big boy.
With an I?
I don't know how you spell that. How would you spell that?
B-O-I is how she
Then-
spelled it. Not,
okay.
not you.
I think I'm a big
Messiah.
boy.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
Hmm.
I don't feel comfortable with either, but
I don't feel comfortable anywhere. Hence the big boy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
the votes. Yeah.
I've made
hey,
a-
how's that going? The challenge.
Well,
Ooh, yes. Any weight loss?
I
We're
haven't
2 weeks in.
I haven't checked. I haven't weighed since then. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the final weigh in at the end.
Have you been keeping track of the
No.
points?
No, I haven't. And I'm going to a lot of the team has been keeping track, and there's a lot of points in the thing, and you get to my name,
Yeah.
zero.
So you didn't do anything.
No. But I was with one of my colleagues today,
Yeah.
and we work on the third floor, and we had to go up to the fifth floor.
You took the stairs?
Yeah, and we took the
Oh.
stairs.
Did you give yourself points for that?
No, I didn't. But we got up to the 5th floor and we were doing something, and I thought everything was fine and normal. And my colleague looked over to me. He goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You're breathing so hard." It's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Are you out of breath?" And I said, "I guess I am."
Will there ever be an episode where we don't talk about you being out of breath?
Well, it's kind of like one of my things now. But now I actually have
it's a
like
nice thing to have.
actionable experience that going up 2 flights of stairs did take my breath away.
Take my breath away. See, there's the singing, Elliot. You thought there was no singing on this podcast. There's been
He's
plenty
so
so
annoyed
far.
right now.
I'm not
He
annoyed.
told us we weren't allowed to
Oh,
sing.
he's peeved in a petty manner.
I think I get a bad
You know what
rap
I
here.
have? A pet please.
Ooh, a pet please coming in.
All right, so let's get to the advice.
I'll just say, Laura today is my pet please.
That's fair.
Laura's your pet please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Aw.
I've been asking for weeks to get some advice sent into this pod.
Yeah.
First one, I'm very pleased.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I think
good.
we've had to build up credibility. So I think now Laura probably feels like, you know
Tru-
what?
trusted
They
enough
know what they're
with the
talking
advice,
about.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
if after this episode, people are like, okay, they know what they're talking about.
That is a
I got
risk
questions.
I'm willing to go.
They're like, there's been like a hole in the universe since Oprah left her post, and finally we have
Ooh.
found the 3 idiots who can, who can
And
fill that gap.
idiots we are.
Yeah. Okay, so Laura's request for advice. Hey, Pod. I have a 12-year-old son who is in middle school for the first time. Advice on how to parent a middle school boy who is not into sports. It sounds like I might be sitting between 2 of them.
2 12-year-old boys.
Well, former 12-year-old
Former
boys. who are
12-year-old boys,
Probably
yes.
not the,
I
fun
was a
s-
12-year-old boy at one point.
stars
Fun
on
fact.
the gridiron.
I wear the same size pants now as I did when I was 12.
Oh, fun fact, I do not. Not at all.
All right, so I feel like you 2 are probably well positioned to give some advice here then.
I have been a 12-year-old boy.
A big boy?
I was a little boy. I was a scrawny boy. I was a
Ooh,
thin.
I
kind
was a
of-
big boy.
You were okay. So we actually kind of traded
Yeah.
places here.
I was a big boy in my youth.
It's going to be another long pod.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness! No, it will not be.
Yeah.
That's another one of our goals. But so Chad,
Gotta get to
you
dinner.
were a big boy.
Yes.
Now you're I'd say pretty svelte boy.
That might be a good adjective.
Yeah.
I'm tall and gangly, lean-ish, some may say. Well, this is a good thing. It takes me back and like thinking sports are like a way that a lot of people get development. And you have adult role models. Yeah, I mean, there's coaches. You have the teamwork
man.
aspects of
Yeah.
sports. So without that, what are the other avenues
Well, that's
that are available? And things that come
Theater.
to mind for me.
Okay,
Theater
yeah.
is definitely one of those things.
yeah.
Forensics or other speaking
Forensics.
competition.
Why is it called forensics?
What does that mean?
I'm not really
Forensics.
sure. So at least in the areas that I come
Like
from,
debate
it's,
club.
yeah, it's like
Yeah, I've
speaking
never heard it called
competitions.
forensics.
Yeah, that's what it's called, but I have
Yeah.
no idea why. Hey,
I-
mailbag.
I'm
Let
not
us know.
questioning that's what's
Yeah.
called. I've just personally never heard it. We didn't have a debate club. I went to a
Yep.
I went to a school that was so small that even if you had zero athletic ability, you could play on the team. So most, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say everybody, most people played some sort of sport. So
Yeah.
being a 12-year-old boy
Boy.
without an interest in sports, I'd have to say video games were big for me.
Yeah.
Being bullied was big for me.
Elliot.
Oh,
I feel terrible right now.
No.
because that's been the basis of our friendship has been we've been
of.
bullying Elliot.
But we do it as like a defense
No,
mechanism
no,
against
okay.
his like tyrannical nature.
Let me explain. So I went to a very small school. Like I went to a K through 8 elementary school, I guess. So we didn't have middle school. We went K through 8 and then 10 through 12
Yeah.
or 9 through 12. And up until 6th grade, there was one boy. So there were only six
Boy.
boys in my class.
Oh wow, yeah. So
There
there
was-
was a
Really?
small
There was
class.
10 girls and 6 boys. So there were 16 of us that finished 8th grade. And one of the boys was just like, he was like the ringleader, you know?
Mm.
There's always like one
Yep.
leader
The Frankie.
of the yeah, the Frankie.
Yeah.
And this one guy,
The rat wife.
he was the kind of people followed his lead. He left at the end of 6th grade.
Out of here.
He left, he moved, his mom got a new job, he moved, and then in 7th grade things got way better for me. So
Oh, that
actually,
makes sense, yeah.
I think when you're 12, what are you, 7th grade?
6th
Yeah,
grade.
I don't
Okay.
know.
So
Somewhere around there.
my 6th grade year was bad.
7th grade was good.
7th grade got great, and I stayed pretty even the whole way through.
So it
So
was just that one. What's his name? Put it out there on the pod.
Ooh.
Shame him.
Adam
Adam. It's always an Adam.
S. His last
Adam
name started with an
S.
S. I'm not going to say
That's
his
all
full
you're
last
gonna
name
give? Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
because I actually met him like in high school, like 5 years later.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Nice
guy.
Really friendly. Like he
Oh.
grew up too.
He probably
Yeah,
had
that's
some
the thing.
stuff
We all
going on,
do grow up a
probably,
little bit. Yeah. So you played video games.
I played video games and sports.
Gotcha. I think another
And
avenue,
theater,
Caitlin.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Elliot.
Well, that's a high school conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
well,
think
we'll
there's
get there.
opportunities for people in middle school to get involved in
Right.
theater, and within that, there's a community of people
Yeah.
that come together.
Sure.
Sometimes it's a weird community.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
At least in my experience. But also loosely connected to that, dance is another world that does meld.
Chad's a dancer.
Yeah.
Was a dancer.
Very much so.
I can also talk about being a
Ooh.
dancer.
Oh,
I don't know if
God,
you
I
guys
didn't
even
know.
know this. Have I told you this
Oh.
before?
I had
Chad,
no idea. Let Chad.
let's
tell.
hear.
Well,
let's hear your.
I'll run through it quickly. So I did some.
Don't be quick. I want to hear the details. I want to hear the stories. Give me your
Well,
dancing.
I came into it a little bit late. Well, early in life, my parents put me in dance when I was in like first and second grade.
Yeah.
I did it, and then like I moved
Oh
on to
my God, little
karate.
Chad, how cute.
Oh, I got some pictures. The
what
Instagram
kind
I'll
of
have to
what
go
kind
in.
of dance are we talking about?
So
here?
there was like
ballet,
a
jazz,
little
tap?
bit of like jazz,
Tap, how
jazz and
cute.
tap
Yeah,
was the thing, and then I don't know what it was. It was like
Lyrical?
it was like little kid dance. So,
little kid dance.
but jazz and
I'm
tap
dying
was the
right
And
big
you
now.
did like all the rehearsals and everything,
Yep,
and you had
yep,
to
on
have
the
the little
stage.
outfits.
Oh yeah, the sequence.
Did you do
suspenders.
a recital?
Yep. I don't know if
That's
there's
what I
video of
meant,
that
not
around, but
rehearsals,
there's
yeah.
photos. There's like the group photos
Wow.
of that. So I left that behind, and then in high school came back to it when I did show choir, or like similar to Glee Club, some places call it. What?
I did. Not
Come
about
on.
your story.
Caitlin reached down for her cup, and then was like surprised when she found it.
I got spooked. Sorry, Chad. Keep going.
Sorry to derail you.
So I came back into it, and then college I went into a similar path. I like kind of
Yeah.
got away from it, but then like took a class, loved it, was very close to becoming a dance minor. but
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
did some choreographing, did a solo piece and a performance, and
I didn't know this. Is there
Was in a
media
few
of
things.
this? Photos,
there,
videos?
there's some videos floating
podcasts.
around.
That's going to be on the Instagram. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Oh man.
Yeah, if you scroll back through my Facebook, you'll find some interesting outfits and things like that. But
Okay.
there's a lot there. It does have some athleticism built into it, though. So it
Right.
depends on like where the sports and where the athletic
Well, that's the thing.
separation takes
I
place.
think
for
I
this
would
advice.
I would kind of call dancing a sport.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
like
There's
you-
definitely
Yeah.
competitive components of it too.
Sure, and
Yeah.
you have to generally be kind of athletic.
Well, you didn't just dance. You were also on the circuit for a while, right?
Which circuit?
The cat circuit.
Ooh, yes.
That's a
That-
great non-athletic.
That is, Laura. I
activity.
think we
Yeah.
found an idea for you. So listen up, Laura.
So, well, the lead into this is actually a very serious point. 4-H, the youth development program executed through state extension services, is a great
It's a
opportunity.
lot about 4-H right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been holding this one in.
He
I will.
bleeds green. Is
I
that what color
do.
they are, green?
Head, heart, health, and hands.
Oh,
the
boy.
4-H is right there.
Well, I never knew what it stood for.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
in more rural areas, there's a lot of like animal projects, but there's leadership development.
Uh-huh.
There is photography in
Of animals?
of
Is this-
anything. Like
Oh, you could have done it, Elliot.
it's all project-based leadership development. So there's
I
all
always
sorts of
thought it
things.
was like mainly focused around animals and like
that's
livestock.
That's the
and-
most visible part because they have
Okay.
the county fairs
Okay.
where that takes place. Our friend, I believe, lives in a large city. May
She
not quite
does,
be the
yep.
focus, but 4-H also has science, engineering, technology, and art curriculums that they deliver through community.
Are you moonlighting on top of moonlighting as a podcast host as a 4-H recruiter? Because you're selling me on it, Chad.
Oh, I
They
had-
don't want you, Elliot.
I'm sold. I don't have the time.
I think you should look
Eh,
into it.
you
There's
got
a
the
lot
pod
of
now.
great work out there.
No free time anymore.
No.
It was very influential on me. I learned
Okay.
like parliamentary procedure. I learned
All
how to
right.
like do good things. So I love making jokes, but I'm a serious, huge fan of the youth development program 4-H.
Okay. So
That was supposed to be the lead in to the.
that was a lead
the
into
cat
something.
circuit.
Oh, the cat show.
Yeah.
That's a whole. So part of my 4-H life that dabbles into the
I didn't realize the
interesting
two were
world.
connected.
Yeah, because that's where I was showing a lot of cats with that.
at
like,
the
these
4-H
things.
county fair.
So the reason there's so much context around this, we watched a Netflix documentary. I believe it's called Catwalk.
Maybe about Canadian cat
Yeah,
shows. The Canadian cat show circuit.
And it brought back so many memories
it was
of my youth.
riveting.
What was that big cat's name?
I don't know.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la, that's right. We called him
Chad was a big fan.
He was a Persian.
He was a big boy.
Big
Okay,
boy.
so cat shows.
Cat shows.
You can do dog shows,
You can?
bunny shows.
Yep, I have many trophies that I won showing rabbits.
I think we found an idea here.
I think that
Laura,
it might be
how
tough.
do you feel about showing cats?
I don't know if there's a big audience for that in the city of New
It's
York.
the biggest city in the country.
I guess
I
that's
think
where
that's where
Westmin-
the-
that's where the dog
Westminster.
show is. The Westminster Dog
Yeah.
Show. All right.
Ooh.
You know, I'm probably wrong. In fact, I'm usually
You're
wrong.
going to have to get a whole set of brushes. You have to keep those things groomed.
Yeah, you do.
Looking tight.
Okay, so we got one idea.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Showing bunnies in New York City.
And cats, Elliot.
And cats, I'm sorry. Well, Chad,
And if you're looking for rabbit recommendations, I know the breeds. Like, come to me, let me know. Are you looking for like
A city breed?
well-tempered or
Yeah.
like small and easy to handle? Because those
Are those mutually exclusive?
they're tough. The larger rabbits are the easier, more docile
Oh,
animals.
it's like a dog.
and
yeah.
then the smaller breeds of rabbits are like you can hold them in your hands, but they'll bite you.
I thought we would get to at least 50 episodes.
if Elliot
before
and I
we
were
talked
breeds
about
of
rabbit breeds.
well, we're just scratching the surface.
Like
we'll
if
do a
the
full blown
best
expose.
middle of the road, best of both worlds is going to be a mini lop, maybe a Holland lop.
Okay.
Well tempered, small, compact bodies, and like easy to
Okay.
transport.
I'm going to be honest, Chad. I guess I should have assumed this. I didn't know that there were multiple breeds of rabbit. I thought there was just rabbits. I thought there were rabbits and hares.
And bunnies were just the
Ooh.
little ones.
Bunnies I thought were like kittens,
Babies.
like baby
Yeah,
rabbits.
kittens.
Well, actually, baby rabbits are called kittens.
What?
Are you then what's a bunny?
A bunny is just a generic name. It's not like a real like scientific thing.
My world is rocked.
A kitten is a
Mhm.
small rabbit?
That's a
Yep.
bad name.
That's cute. Wait, so if Elliot and I were breeds of rabbits based on our own temperament
Ooh, based
and
on your temperaments.
whatever, however you want to think about it, what would we be? And then what's the rationale?
I would call Caitlin a red satin.
Oh my
Rabbit?
God.
Thank you, Chad.
Where are they native to? Red satins.
I'm not quite
Mm.
sure.
What makes me a red satin?
Well, I'm looking at you right now, and your hair is looking on point.
Thank you.
And red satins have a very sheer coat, so when you run your hand over, it's
Okay.
just very smooth
Yeah.
and
Okay.
reflects light in
Yeah.
a great way. So they're well known for their fur.
Okay.
Elliot,
What about my
I-
temperament, though?
I would say middle of the road temperament. Like
Okay.
I don't want to like get you mad, and you'll
Yeah.
defend yourself when
Yeah.
you need to.
Yeah.
But I'm
like,
not a biter.
Generally,
Yeah.
Generally, you're good to go. Elliot, on the other hand,
What do you got for me, Chad?
I am going to give you a.
Put me in a rabbit bucket.
A
mean-
rabbit hole.
Ooh. I am going to classify you as an English lop.
I like it. I
So-
like being thought of as a lop.
Yeah, me too.
So there's a few different like lop style of rabbits.
Oh my God.
Most of the photos that you're going to see are going to be like these mini lops, these French lops that are like larger animals. And then the English lops have extraordinarily long ears. So their ear tip to tip will be 21 inches at
Tip
least.
to
Oh my
tip.
God, I don't know.
So they're just these oversized, like a lot of maintenance
Elliot is
go
sweating
into
right now. Can you see
these
him?
rabbits.
I'm not sweating.
No, there is literally a bead dripping down your
Okay.
nose.
So
Okay.
like I know the amount of work that you put into your beard and the maintenance that comes in. That's why I think you are an English lop rabbit, because their ears are so long. There's so much
He
work.
preens.
They're beautiful,
I do preen.
yeah.
but they are a pain in the ass.
Okay. Okay. A beautiful pain in the ass is actually
Oh.
a pretty apt description for me, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's an idea. So, Laura, I feel like you probably got a little bit of what you needed.
Well,
But what do you got? What do you got for advice, Elliot?
so I think when we think about being a 12-year-old,
Boy
it's boy or just a
or girl or
12.
person.
It's a rough
Yeah.
period of time for any person.
When you're 12,
So it's 30.
things are happening, right?
Ooh.
Oh, Elliot.
You're right. You're getting you're having a tough time.
There's feelings. There's
feelings. You're starting to
hormones.
realize. You're starting to think about who you are, what your place is in the world. Things are happening to your body.
It's an educational pod.
I mean,
There's a story
I
here that
really-
he's trying
like
to
the
get
adults
out.
table and the kids table. There's that gap space in between there.
it's not even a story. I want you to
Ooh.
go with me. The thing is, when you're 12 years old, specifically a boy, you have a lot of things that are happening. You don't know how to handle them.
Yeah.
And
Are you talking about walking around with notebooks in front of you, or what? Are you talking about, Elliot?
And I tell you what, notebook.
there's a lot of things when you're 12.
That spark interest?
70 and Laura, I apologize for talking about your son this way, but it's something you have to know. When you're 12 and 13, you spend 60%
Teach her,
of your
Elliot.
time with an erection. All right? And as a as a young boy, you really have to come up with ways to hide it or to suppress it. And it's not your fault. You didn't ask for it. You didn't try it.
So, Elliot, let me ask you some questions. I know you went to a Catholic school. Did you have like a specific series of challenges with this while you were in Mass?
I don't think. So the
Would you call it a massive?
Okay.
Walking up to get communion.
I mean, think about it. When you're in, think about it. I was looking at Caitlin when I said that. You're in class, you get called up to the board.
Oh.
You don't know how to handle some things.
Oh, yeah. It's out of your control, too. It's like...
I want to acknowledge it's something you have to consider, right? And so if you're just always around show bunnies, you have no problem.
Show bunnies. Maybe
So-
you do. You don't know that. You don't know how Chad felt.
I just want there to be some empathy for the 12 and 13-year-old boys around here.
Sure.
Okay.
For the listeners.
I mean, these are explicit podcasts. I think we made that clear pretty early on.
Damn it, Elliot.
So
It was the elephant in the room, and Elliot
Okay.
felt like he
Was
needed to
it?
just preach it.
Was it?
for the ones of us in the room that were a 12-year-old boy at one point, yeah, it was an elephant in the room. And I felt like it needed to be addressed.
It was an English lop.
Oh boy. So I bring that up not to poke fun at your son, Laura. I just want you.
I'm so sorry.
This is an interesting jump from besides athletics.
Yeah.
What could he get involved in?
It's
Boners.
not. Hey, see now it's explicit.
Wait.
I didn't use that word. All right, I kept it clean.
Clinical. He kept it
I
clinical.
kept it clinical. I could never talk about this face to face. The only reason I can even talk about this is because I'm hidden by miles and miles and microphones.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be plenty of people blushing on
I
the
know.
train when this conversation comes up.
Hopefully,
And they can write into the pod at I'll tell you what podcast at gmail.com.
Address it to Elliot.
the reason I bring it up is because
Bring it up.
Chad.
God damn it.
Chad.
Gutter jokes. That's what I offer.
What was the question that Laura asked specifically?
It was advice on how to parent a middle school boy who's
Okay.
not into sports.
Okay, so parenting a middle school boy.
No, who is not into sports. You're missing that
You
part
don't
of
have
it.
to be
Finding an outlet is probably what
Yeah.
she's
No. I'm
really
saying
looking
you
for.
don't have to be an athlete to have to deal with that issue. So parenting that child, this is part of it. She's going to notice things. It's going to happen when they're together, and she's going to have to decide, do I address this or do I act like I didn't see it? All right.
I feel like you're making your point.
Well, Caitlin,
For the
like
past
the sad
15
thing
minutes.
is he's not wrong,
No,
and I hate
Thank
that he's
you,
not
Chad.
wrong.
I don't disagree.
This is
I just feel like
Name
it
me-
wasn't the question.
name a bigger part of parenting a 12-year-old boy than going through these changes. Name one.
Feeding them,
Okay.
putting a roof over their
Yeah,
head.
but she's been doing that for the past 12 years. This is uncharted territory for both of them.
All right, I
That's
feel
true.
Like we gotta move.
When I was a 12-year-old boy, I had a hairstyle.
Oh,
Ooh, this could be a juicy topic.
I can't even find a picture of me when I was this age, and I also can't find a picture of this hairstyle from the era. We were 90s kids, right?
Yep.
So
yeah.
what was I in 12? It was mid to late 90s. I was 12.
Yeah.
Right? I had a hairstyle. It was a buzzed head,
With bangs.
but I had bangs.
Oh,
Yep.
I had the buzzed hair with the bangs
I would
from
love to see that.
down to the eyebrow. And
all the way down to the eyebrow.
yeah.
It was like a little curl up in the
Yeah.
front.
Did you every day give it a little
No,
curl?
we didn't
Just
think about it, but
natural.
almost everybody in my class had this.
Yep.
The 6 boys of us, we all had the same.
Because there were
We had the
only 6
same haircut.
boys.
It was
Okay.
the same thing for us out here in the
Really?
Yeah. In
So that was
Wisconsin.
6th and 7th
Worcester.
grade. In 8th grade, I dabbled in dyeing my own hair.
Frosted
Oh.
tips. Ooh, a little bit of what was your method? Sun in
So no.
hair dye
So I had a big.
peroxide.
I think we all did, but we didn't want to talk about it. I love the Backstreet Boys.
Ooh, I was an NSYNC
Really?
fan.
Okay, so you
Yeah, I
cho-
was probably more of an
you chose your
fan.
path. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC,
That
right?
ex- explains a lot about our friendships,
You were sort
too.
of like a weenie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sure.
Sorry,
Lot
brought it back.
A lot of weenie talk here. I was a Backstreet Boys fan, specifically a Lance Bass fan.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Bass.
Lance Bass was in NSYNC.
He was in sync. You're just discovering now.
I've just learned. I think I was a Backstreet Boys fan, but I was a
Oh.
fan specifically of Lance Bass.
Oh.
who was an NSYNC member.
Oh,
Anyway,
you got a wandering eye.
I do. I wasn't loyal to BSB. But he was like the celebrity I think of most when I think of highlighted hair, right? So
Yeah.
what I really wanted was those Lance Bass highlights.
You
So
wanted very blonde hair.
well, he had brown hair with blonde tips,
Oh.
frosted tips.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
For our audience out there, if you want to see Elliot with frosted tips again, let us know by writing, and I think we might be able to make it happen if we get enough fan support.
that can be a Patreon tier.
10
later on.
emails. We're looking for 10 emails.
If you want to see Elliot with frosted tips, let us know.
And we'll do it live on the
Ooh,
YouTube
yeah.
channel.
I didn't agree to any of this beforehand.
You don't have to.
Anyway,
It's 2/3 vote.
I'll hurry this up. It was a self-dye kit. You basically put on a hairnet, and then you pulled individual strands of your hair
Oh,
with like
yeah,
this
yeah.
little hook thing through the holes, and then you
Dyed
dye
it.
what's
dyed
available.
just those ones.
Yeah.
And then you let that sit. You take off the thing, and there you have frosted tips.
Yeah.
My hair was too short to do that, and I did it too far down, like near my ears and the back of my neck. So the top looked okay, but the bottom I just had like leopard spots. So I had like polka dots of blonde on the back of my head. It was a tough couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you did the whole like shave and then you just kept the bang.
Well, believe it or not, this was after that phase.
Oh.
Multiple phases. The buzzed head with the bangs was like 6th grade.
Okay.
The frosted tips was like late 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I lived that life too.
You did the frosted tips?
Yeah.
I think I was curious growing up in high school, like be a little more of a risk taker.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't
Ooh.
want to miss out on a good time. Not much has changed. But so I remember my parents adopted like the 3 strikes parenting rule. So like 3
Ooh.
strikes and you're out.
So the car was one strike.
The car was a strike. There were a few other strikes. It got to the point where I had to start getting half and quarter strikes because like I got up to like 2.5 strikes real quick.
That's like when a parent
Ooh.
says, I'm going to count down from 10.
Yeah.
And then they get to 1 and nothing's
Yeah.
changed.
To still have to do that at 18 is
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
not
yeah.
great. But I remember one time, it was like my senior year of high school. My mom sat me down. It was like the fall of my senior year. And she's like, I want you to look at my face. Okay. She goes, this is not the face of a young woman. I was like, oh, okay. She goes, I'm tired. I was like, okay. She's like, you and I, we can't be doing this every couple of weeks. We can't be sitting down having these conversations. You like getting in trouble, getting grounded. I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. I agree. I don't enjoy that either. She goes, so you're gonna have to do 1 of 2 things. Like, okay, you're gonna have to cut the shit, or you're gonna have to get better about covering it up.
Ooh.
She's like, because I don't even think you try, and you're just not a good liar. So my advice to you is option 1.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Is that what you did? Did you do option 1? Or
I
did
don't
you
remember.
work better at hiding it?
I don't think it wasn't like I was doing bad things or anything all the time. It was just like whenever I did something I shouldn't have been doing, I
Yeah.
got caught. Chad, what about you? What were you like?
In middle school or
Or high school?
I dabbled in a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I think I drifted. Like I did football, wrestling, track, cross country, and some of those seasons like overlapped. I did theater, I did forensics, I did show choir. So I didn't like, my track coach actually told me, you're a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Mhm.
And I've continued to be that way into my professional career.
That's kind of your job description.
Yeah. And so is
Although
like,
you're a master of some, I would say that.
yeah.
But you are a jack of all trades.
yeah. And so I've like started to lean in hard on being a resourceful person that can figure out things that I don't know how to do. And I think I probably started picking that up in middle school and high school because I didn't know what I like. There was a moment where I had this realization that athletics and sports weren't the path for me. I got an injury during my 2 injuries.
You were a wrestler?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was long and gangly.
Gangly. Yeah.
I was a leg wrestler, so it's a style of wrestling where
Is that like a Greco-Roman?
no, that
Leg
it's like a
wrestler.
different style, but yeah.
There's a T-shirt.
And I twisted my knee I separated my shoulder early in the season, and then once I got back healthy, I was wrestling back for my spot, and I twisted my knee and like tore my MCL. So I had 2 injuries within the same season. And I was like, I'm not good enough to get a scholarship.
Maybe this isn't
out of
right
this.
for me.
And I was like, I want to be a parent that can do things with my children in the future.
Wow, what foresight.
Chad at
So-
age 15 or 16 was like already thinking about
That's
what
where
kind
I'm
of
hoping to be
yeah,
at like
what kind of
45.
father he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Well, and I realized, so like I don't want to thrash my body in high school and have a permanent injury.
What a
So I moved
what a
away
Shit,
from
that would
responsible
never
young boy.
cross my mind.
yeah, not at 15 or 16.
No.
Well,
no.
and I had like an injury, a couple of them. Like one of those by themselves, it would have been like probably the mentality of
Yeah.
like move through this, and like stay with the sports. But two of them, and my dad had like multiple like injuries himself, and I was like,
You don't want to be that.
I don't want to go through that.
You saw him and you're like, that's not the guy
Yeah.
I want to be.
And so then I
God,
got
Elliot, how dark.
no, not quite
Injury
like
wise.
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Injury and health wise. That's
Yeah.
all.
And then in college, I was doing some pretty aggressive dancing, so I was still
wait. Sorry. Just want to make sure that Mike's picked that up. Say it one more time.
I did some pretty aggressive dancing.
Oh my God. What does that mean?
It means
You were doing like ballroom, like swirling,
No,
dipping.
no. I was doing like
swirling and twirling.
I was doing
That's a shirt.
modern dance
Yeah, it
and a
is.
lot
I
of
wrote it
lyrical
down.
stuff. So I was like on the ground. I was
Oh
like
my God.
busting my knees and stuff, like
Wow.
hitting the ground hard,
For the love of dance.
and like leaping and doing this very athletic, heavy stuff.
He was leaping the dips.
Right. So
I was
that
doing
kind
some
of dancing
tourgetés.
would definitely not be right for Laura's son.
Well,
Well, you
It
never know.
depends.
He could find
You
his
said
voice.
non-athletic, aggressive
no,
dancing.
Yeah.
sports were the thing. So there's this opportunity that like there's this line
Oh,
between
right. She
competitive
didn't
and
say.
artistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there may be something.
You can be
there.
artistically athletic.
Hell, he could be a leg wrestler if he wants.
Well, what about his meniscus or
Yeah.
MCL?
Yeah. That's fair.
I did dance
What?
when I was call back. I told you I'd talk about it.
Oh.
My dad, I forget his name. He's gonna
Your dad's
be
name?
upset. No, I know my dad's name. There was a famous Steeler, I think, or was it a Pirate?
God, Elliot, how are you
Probably a
confused between the two?
Lynn Swan. Was he a Steeler? I think he was a Steeler. Let's go with that. And Lynn Swan famously did ballet
Yeah.
to help with his like mobility and like his I don't know what you call it.
Be
but
able
his,
to move laterally along
his,
with the
his
plays
movement.
and stuff. Yep.
So my dad suggested that I do dance to
Yep.
help with my football career because I clearly wasn't doing something right. So I participated in jazz dance.
Ooh.
Wow.
Out of I think I was maybe 10 or 11, 12, somewhere around there, and I was the only boy in the whole room out of 30.
Yay.
30 girls.
Wow, really?
But like back then, like when you're anytime really, I'd still be deeply uncomfortable with that today. But like back then, it was a nightmare,
Yeah.
and you had to.
What'd
not,
you wear?
Well, I wore black sweatpants and a white t-shirt because I didn't want to invest for like the
so
tights.
much has changed.
I don't own a pair of sweatpants.
No, I know. I
So-
just said that.
But the thing that made me most uncomfortable about the whole thing was I couldn't wear socks. You had to be barefoot, and
Yep.
I was just
You weren't comfortable.
I
with it.
hate being barefoot
Really, I love it.
around people. Like I'm barefoot
I
at
don't
home,
care.
but like it was awful. So I went to a couple weekends of rehearsal, and then it was time for there to be a recital. And since I was the only boy, I was the one that had to do like the lift stuff,
Oh
you
my
know, and
God.
like hold the hip and like do
Hold
that
the-
thing.
Hold the hip.
And as soon as I realized that I would have to perform this in front of people,
Mhm.
I quit. That was the last time I ever went.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, how old were you again?
I think I was 10 or 11.
You could have had a future like Chad. You could have
I
been
could
doing
have
some aggressive
aggressively danced.
dancing
But no,
in your later years.
I did like I was probably 3 or maybe 4 weekends of this before I quit.
okay.
So a short career,
yeah,
very short career, and
but impactful nonetheless.
it stuck with me in a bad way. Like it scarred me.
Really, the bare feet.
The bare feet and just the shame and like the embarrassment I felt of just
Wow.
not that it's a bad not that I'm saying you have to feel shame as a dancer. Clearly, somebody's like had a good
Well,
life with it, but
yeah.
for me, I was so deeply uncomfortable being in that role,
This
and I never forgave my dad for it.
this brought to my memory
God,
an
this
experience
thing
I had
took
in
a real
college
turn.
that ties into some of the like awkward body stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Chad,
we were doing
be an
a-
ally.
Bringing it back.
And so we had a traveling instructor who came in and was just doing a workshop, and we were doing like modern improvisation sort of stuff. So essentially, we had a class in the evening, and it was essentially you roll around and you don't know what you're doing, but you like bounce and like
Sounds fun.
roll with partners, and you do lifts, and you like balance on each other's body weight. And then we had pizza delivered, but the like pizza came in and just saw a bunch of people like rolling on top of each other and doing this very interpretive dance. And I remember
Aggressive.
my instructor, there was a moment where like we were doing moves together and my hand did like a full-on cup of her bosom. And she was like just in a leotard. And I was
Wait,
like,
of the teacher?
yeah.
Oh,
and she
man.
was like this very artsy, hippie,
And she was like, just go with it.
like lady who was twice my age, or
Yeah.
like her daughter was
So
also
how
in the
long
class.
did you date for?
17
quite-
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, my wife listens
Aggressively.
to this pod. But yeah, I've definitely had.
So what happened?
There was just.
What did she do?
Oh, we just kept dancing, but it was
You
very
had to
awkward.
improvise. You had to roll
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Yes,
But-
and.
She reached over and grabbed your bosom then just to keep it even.
Hey. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was... Anybody got anything else?
What were you like in middle school and high school, Caitlin?
Middle school. I also went to a Catholic school in middle school,
Mhm.
Elliot, through 6th grade. And then-
That's a topic.
yeah, we could go deep
Ooh.
on that.
We should
got-
go deep on that at another
yeah,
point.
Yeah, we could. Penny loafers and...
Mm.
Dime
give it-
loafers over here.
I'll give a quick little anecdote.
Yeah.
I didn't wear pennies in my loafers. I wore dimes because I was worth it.
You still are.
Thank you.
No, but so I went to Catholic school through 6th grade.
Yeah.
And then I decided, like, the morning, like, one of them right before 7th grade was supposed to start, I was like, I don't need to do this anymore.
The morning.
Yeah, literally. Or, like, the night before. And so I told my mom, I was like, I think I'm going to go to public school down the street.
Really?
Yeah, so...
You could just do it that quickly?
Probably not, but
Wow.
I don't think they were super thrilled. But, yeah, that's what I did.
Wow.
So then, I don't know. I
Did
was
you
like,
know anybody at that
yeah,
new
I mean,
school?
I had, like, neighborhood friends and stuff
Okay.
like that.
So it wasn't
yeah.
a tough, like a super hard transition.
I mean, no, probably not. Yes and no.
Was it a 7th grade? Like it
Yes,
was.
I
Like
Well, it was like everyone was
junior
going
year?
into a new school
Right.
too, so that
Oh,
right.
sort of
So it
makes
was the
sense.
start of a new chance.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
start
second
of
chance.
something new.
All right, are we done with this part?
Yeah, I think
All
we
right,
are.
let's go. So what do we do after we're done with the topics? I always forget.
I think we go to the mailbag.
The mailbag.
mailbag.
All right, this is a mailbag rich episode. So we've got we got a lot of pickup in the mailbag this week. Why are you shaking your head?
Just thinking about the
Stop it.
last
Stop it.
half an hour of my life.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Overshare Elliot. That's his new nickname. I got the label maker.
Mm.
All right, so we got a couple of questions in the mailbag.
Okay,
We
great.
handled the advice.
Yep.
I wouldn't say we handled it well, but we handled it. So now we're
No,
moving
yeah,
back.
advice has been delved out.
Yeah, so take it or leave it. Leave it.
Go to 4-H.
So our friend Megan, I've
Ignore the
never called her
erections.
Megan. Our friend Baker, Baker wrote in. She said, "Hey, Pod."
Hey,
Hey,
hey, Bix.
Don't call her that. That's weird,
Nikki.
Elliot. Nikki. Yeah. I have a question for Chad, in parentheses, and would love to hear from the others on this.
Okay.
Chad, I've heard you mention that you'd make a great cult leader. I'm curious what your dream cult would be like and your general thoughts on cults. This is a dark
He's got
episode.
the voice of
It's
a cult
dark
leader.
one.
Dark episode.
Um,
Also, one more thing, Chad, before we dive in. Small piece of feedback. Thanks, Baker. Would love to be able to listen to the podcast on Mondays on my morning commute.
Yeah.
So if they could get posted a little bit earlier in the day, that would be dope.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Let me jump ahead and just answer that because
Yeah.
it's quick.
Sure.
These are set to go up at 8:30 in the morning on Monday, but there's no reason for that. So
Yeah.
I've actually scheduled the one that you heard last week went up at 5:30 in the morning.
I think we're not a little
Oh,
bit
that
early. now.
early. Wow.
Yeah. So like when you wake up, if you have your podcast app set to auto download, it's already there.
Nice.
Unless
All
you
right.
wake up
Thank you
before
for that.
5:30.
Well, you're welcome, Baker.
Yeah.
Enjoy
So
it.
enjoy your Monday mornings.
Enjoy it.
So now to me leading a cult. There's a lot here just trying to figure out. I think in my youth, I was a little bit more charismatic and a little bit more extroverted.
Chat. Hold on one second.
No, Elliot,
I
that
have
was
to-
a whispered secret.
Well,
Oh,
the world needs to hear
inappropriate.
it. Caitlin leans over to me and she goes, "You should call it Morning Wood."
Elliot, what the hell?
I'm sorry.
You call what Morning Wood?
Just the pod, I think.
This one.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
Okay.
So being a cult leader, in my youth, I was a little bit more charismatic and a little bit more extroverted, and I had these ideas of grandeur that I wanted to be an out front leader.
Okay.
Now, as I've aged, I like being more in the back and I like
Yeah.
to move things and like support
Right.
spaces.
Right.
But
Jack of
I-
all trades, if you will.
yeah, once upon a time I wanted to be an inspirational speaker. That was a job I wanted to pursue. Yeah, I was weird like that. Now it's different, but I think I was good. I was good at persuading people.
Sure.
I have like physical. I'm tall.
He's the stature of a cult leader.
Yeah,
well, and
he
that's the thing.
does.
You can see my face
He had that
above the heads of
long
other
hair
people.
in
You're
high
a
school.
menacing figure.
And I feel
wouldn't call
like
him menacing.
if you are good at persuading people, you just get a little, and then you get them to recruit more and more. And then all these like documentaries that I had seen or like heard of, didn't actually watch, but read the headline of,
Yeah.
gave me enough info. I was like, well, I could probably be okay at that.
So, are you doing it?
No.
Oh.
I chose like a more like
He's got
square
the
path.
pod now.
Got the
you don't have
pod.
time.
I got the wife. We're saving up for a house. We're doing like the thing. We're living the American dream.
All right,
American.
moving on.
Do you still aggressively dance?
No.
Oh.
He
God,
doesn't. He doesn't have
you
the
gave
knees
up your-
for it anymore.
You gave up your dream of being a cult leader. You gave up your dream of aggressive dancing. But you had new dreams of buying a house with your wife, who is wonderful, by the way.
Yeah.
But we do have an announcement.
We have an announcement.
We make a lot of missteps on this pod. Share a lot of not so accurate information.
When you say we, are you talking about maybe
No,
a
it's-
specific person?
No,
No, I think we
I'd
all
say
do.
all of us.
Okay. Thank you.
Equal
Mostly you, but all of
opportunity
us. Mostly
spreaders
you,
of
Elliot.
shit.
I didn't. Okay. Well.
Bon me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me address this. It's not Bon May.
No.
I was wrong, and I'm going to admit that. It's Bon Me, and I also want to come clean. I don't think I've ever had a Vietnamese friend.
You've made that whole story up.
I didn't make it up. I was in the moment, and I
You could be a cult leader.
So sometimes we say things that need to be corrected, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm copping to that. I need to be corrected every once in a while.
Okay.
And we can only do so much as two people to correct you.
Right.
Elliot.
So we
Right,
need
because
some
I'm very
extra.
persuasive.
Yeah,
So in that moment, you kind of believed it was Bon May.
We never believed it.
Well,
we were just annoyed that
That's
you
not what
kept-
your eyes said.
No. Okay. Anyway, so I think we need some support.
Where can we find that support?
Well, I think we got ourselves an intern.
We have an
We
intern.
now have an intern.
We're offering them 3 college credits.
Yes. Yes.
No pay.
And
They have to provide their own housing
Yes.
and own transportation.
But every once in a while, we'll spring for lunch.
Will we? I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
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 So who's the intern, Elliot?
The intern is Sarah.
Sarah the intern.
The pod turn.
Yep. So she'll be joining us in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
We'll have a corrections segment on the pod. We're trying
Yep.
to figure out what that's going to look like. But
I'll have to try really hard to say some things that are incorrect, so she has things to correct.
yeah, I'm sure you'll have to
Yeah.
try really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we're looking forward to that because we're going to keep this pod
Keep it moving. We want to be legit.
flying straight.
Now that people are listening to us, we want to make sure that they've got their facts-ish right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a great episode.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we explored the like challenges and the like turmoils of adolescence.
Right. Gave a lot of unsolicited advice.
It might not
Elliot.
be things you want to hear, but it's things you need to know.
We did promos to organizations that don't know that we exist, and hopefully there's good advice out there for maybe some listeners.
Yeah.
Check out 4-H.
Yeah. All right.
Shameless promo.
All right, guys. We did it.
We did it.
You've
So,
been,
Chad, what's the outro?
you've been
take us out.
told.
You've been told. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merchandise now available.
Yeah. Hit the merch store.
Bye, Pod Squad.
Bye.